I'm not a food professional. I'm not a medical professional. If you have food allergies or stomach problems, talk to a professional and don't take advice from a stranger on the internet. Welcome to Dietary Restrictions Kitchen. My name is Carson. I have a lot of dietary restrictions, and at the moment I am sick, so everything hurts my stomach. So we are going to make chicken soup. And we are starting with a whole chicken. So I have my Instant Pot here, the Instant Pot Duo Nova, and I'm putting the trivet thing in it. The trivet thing. And a cup of water. And then we release the chicken from the bag. Oh, you do have giblets. I'm going to cook it with the giblets. And then the chicken goes in the pot. And before I toss this, this is a 4.75 pound chicken. According to the internet, I need to cook this for 6 minutes for every pound. So, hey Google, 4.75 times 6.
4.75 times 6 is 28.5.
We'll call it half an hour. And he's cooked for half an hour. So the chicken in the pot with about a cup of water. And then I should plug this in. Pressure cook for half an hour. And that's it. This is going to take a while to get up to temperature, and then it'll take half an hour to cook, and then it's starting. And then I'm going to let it naturally release. So once the pressure has released on its own, I'll pull the chicken out. So the plan for this is to cook the whole chicken, let it cool, pull the meat off the chicken, and then put the bones back in with some vegetables to make bone broth. And I don't subscribe to any of the health benefits of bone broth. I'm just making bone broth because it has more protein than chicken broth. And it's easy to do in the Instant Pot because it's under pressure. And like when I'm sick and I'm not eating the things that I normally eat, it's hard to get enough protein, especially when I'm living off like toast. So bone broth for this. And then once I have the bone broth, I'm going to let it sit in the fridge overnight so I can, when it cools, the fat will separate and I can skin that off because too much fat's going to hurt my stomach. And then I'll make chicken soup with the chicken from the chicken and the bone broth and some more vegetables. So now we wait. And here we have an anemic looking chicken. I'm just going to leave this open and let it cool until it's handleable by a human. And then I will strip the meat off the bones. My chicken has fully cooled, so I'm going to pop it out. Most of this should come off easily, but I also have a knife if I need it. And it's going in this container because it'll live in the fridge for a little while. The skin and the bones are going back in the pot, and the meat goes in the container. Okay, I've gotten everything I can off the carcass, and I'm leaving the giblets in there. They're not paper. It's going back in the pot. This part's really gross. That's going in the sink. And you are getting dumped back in. This is what the Instant Pot looks like. Lovely, isn't it? So this is what we're working with. This is the skin and the bones and some connective tissue from the whole chicken. And normally you'd put onions and garlic and a bunch of stuff in this, but everything hurts my stomach right now, so I'm just going to throw in a couple of carrots and then some greens from some leeks because I want the onion flavor, but like the white part or a real onion would cause me problems. So let me wash these real quick. That's a chalky carrot. Look at that. I'm not going to bother to peel these. They don't need to be pretty. And I'm only cutting them in half so they'll fit in the pot. And then just the green part of the leek. And it's not as clean as I thought it was. Now it's clean. Leek in the pot. And now I'm going to cover this with just enough water to submerge everything. I'm going to call that good enough. Normally this would also have like a glug of apple cider vinegar, but I don't have any. I have white wine vinegar. So we're going to use that instead. This helps break down the bones, I think. And it goes back in. Yeah, you go back on. Look up the timing for this. 3 hours. So according to the internet, this needs 3 hours. Why does this take forever? So we're gonna let that sit, and then I will come back and check on it once the pressure has naturally released. And this chicken's going in the fridge for now. The bone broth is done, and the thingy has popped down, so that means that the pressure has been naturally released. So let's... Smells like bone broth. And now I want to filter out the vegetables and the chicken bits that are in there. So let me get a pot and a sieve. Fine mesh sieve from IKEA. Here we have a clean pot. Sieve goes in pot. And the Instant Pot is still really warm, so I have gloves. Okay, that's it. Now, you could like strain this through a cheesecloth or through coffee filter, but I'm just gonna let it sit until it's cold completely, and the sediment will settle to the bottom, and then I'm gonna pour this off into a giant glass measuring cup, and just not pour the sediment when I do. This is the dregs that were in the pot before, and you know your bone broth is good bone broth if the bones fall apart once they've been cooked. Like I don't know if you can see this, can easily break these bones with a wooden spoon because they've had all the good stuff cooked out of them. There's a good bone. See that one? Broke it with a spoon. All right, all of this goes in the trash once it's cooled. I don't want to steam my garbage can. Here is my bone broth that's been in the fridge overnight, and you can see that the chicken fat has solidified, and it is kind of gelatinous. That means it's bone broth. I don't know why the store-bought bone broth doesn't do that, but homemade does. And I'm just going to skim the fat off and save it for later. There are many uses for chicken fat. This might go towards matzo ball soup. There's actually significantly more of this in the fridge. This made a lot. And this is really too much effort while I'm sick. But that's why I'm making a big batch of this. It's going to go in my freezer so that when I'm sick, I don't have to go through this effort again. Alright, I'll call that good enough. And this chicken fat goes in the fridge. And for the rest of this, I'm going to need carrots and leeks. And generally, chicken soup has like onions and other stuff in it, but onions are going to hurt my stomach. So I'm just going to use the green parts of the leeks instead of onions because they give me some onion flavor. And then a handful of carrots. There don't need to be exact measurements for this. Let me wash these and chop them up off camera. Here we go. I have my carrots peeled and roughly chopped, and I have my leek chopped, and I have about half the chicken chopped here that's going to go in, and then we're going to put the Instant Pot on saute. You may hear it in the background. I have water going for pasta, and then like a drizzle of olive oil in here. And while that warms up, I'm making pasta separately because I'm gonna freeze all of this, and pasta or potatoes don't freeze well. But we're doing, oh, one more thing. Italian seasoning for a little more flavor. Okay, let that warm up. But yeah, carbs don't freeze well. So I'm just gonna have some pasta in the fridge and hook it up when I want soup. That's about it. I'm gonna make this a little thick because why not? But we're gonna add some bay leaf and then some Italian seasoning. Just because there's not much flavor to this, because adding too much flavor would make it taste good, but also make my stomach hurt. And this is homemade chicken broth, so there's very little salt in it. I would say I haven't added no salt to it. So let me add some salt now. A couple good pinches of kosher salt. And now we're going to pressure cook this for, let's call it 4 minutes. We're going to pressure cook this for 4 minutes because the chicken's already cooked and the leeks have been broken down. We just need to cook the carrots. So there we go. We're done. And now we're going to do a manual pressure release. And I like to do that by reaching through the handle and pushing down on the thing with the spoon. And we're done venting. I'm gonna fish out the bay leaves if I can find them. So there's one. Bay leaves are not edible. They're just tasty. Here we go. Carrots are cooked. It's pretty colors. My egg noodles finished while I was waiting for this. And let me grab a ladle. And there we go. We have soup. Yes, I'm wearing 2 microphones. No, I'm not wearing any makeup because I am sick. Stop judging me. Here's my soup. It's gonna be really hot, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Homemade bone broth is always so much better than anything you can buy in like the bouillon cubes or the cartons or anything else. Does need a little more salt. All right, there's a little bit of everything. It's hot. It's hot. Carrots are perfect. Chicken is not dry because it's been Instant Pot cooked. This is good. This is much better than Soylent and toast, which I've been living off for a while. So I'm going to let the rest of this cool, and then I'm going to portion it up in individual serving sizes and put it in my freezer so that next time I'm sick, I can just pull something out of the freezer and pop it in the microwave and not have to worry about doing all of this, because this is a lot of effort while I'm sick. But here we go. Dietary Restrictions Kitchen, Episode 1, Chicken Soup. That's not going to hurt my stomach, because traditional chicken soup absolutely would. Yeah. This was just an attempt to see if I could do this kind of thing. I don't like being sick. I need a little insert for the beginning of the video, because I'm not a food professional, I'm not a medical professional. If you have food allergies or stomach problems, talk to a professional and don't take advice from a stranger on the internet. This is just an anecdote of the way that I live my life with my health issues. That's good. It's good. Okay. End of video.